Hey everyone, this is Terry from One Love Liberty, and we are live on Google Hangouts webinar, and we're doing the Coaching and Healing with Nature webinar part 2, or the Encore presentation, for those people who couldn't make it the first time. So if you are on Google, let me know you're around. You can go into the Q&A section and say hi. You can leave me a question there anytime. And if you are on oneloveliberty.com/webinar, there is something called Chatwing underneath the video. So you can also chat to me there. And I'm just going to say hi to Michelle all the way over in New Zealand. So that's wonderful to have you online. And yeah, great. So I'm going to just get started straight away because there's lots to cover. Firstly, I want to start with a prayer, a poem. This one is from Susan Griffin. It's actually an excerpt from a poem of hers. And we start by saying that we know ourselves to be made from this earth. We know this earth is made from our bodies. For we see ourselves, and we are nature. We are nature seeing nature. We are nature with a concept of nature. Nature weeping. Nature speaking of nature to nature. And that poem really speaks to my heart because, yeah, my work is all about nature connection and understanding ourselves as part of the natural world. So I'm going to give you a quick outline of what's going to happen this afternoon, and then we'll get straight to it. So I'll give you a short introduction to myself. I won't bore you, a quick introduction, just so you know who I am, where I'm coming from. And then we're going to move on to the main body of the webinar, the bullet points you saw on the webinar page when you signed up. We're going to look about what every coach and healer needs to know about ecopsychology, why nature connection is an essential part of all coaching and healing therapies. And we're going to look at how you as a coach or a healer or just somebody who is interested in using nature connection for your personal wellness, how you can use that to forward your personal growth and transformation. And we're also going to look at how nature connection is part of our conscious evolution and global transformation. And then I'm going to give you a quick meditation that you can use for yourself or for clients that will bring instant ease. Nature connection bringing instant ease. And then I will be sharing with you a little bit about the Coaching and Healing with Nature course that's coming up, and give you an invitation to join that if you would like to. And there'll be a special bonus for anybody who listens to the end of the webinar. So that's your little incentive there. And then there's always time for questions. So if you feel you have a question, type it in on the Google Q&A on the Hangouts, or over on oneloveliberty.com/webinar and the chat wing box there. And you can see me there. And great, well, we'll get to it. So my name is Terry. I live in the beautiful nature island of the Caribbean, Dominica, not to be confused with Dominican Republic. It's a very small island, lots of volcanic activity. I live in a village filled with hot springs and surrounded by rainforest. I consider myself to be very blessed. I am a mother of two, a 6-year-old boy and a 7-year-old girl. And my work or my passion for nature I feel like it's been with me since childhood. I actually started learning about natural healing therapies from the age of 10, and sort of just developed a real interest and passion in natural healing, the way we can really work in harmony with our own bodies and to live like lives of optimal wellness. And then I was also really passionate about the earth as well. You know, I remember as a teenager, you know, nagging everyone to recycle and use less. And then in around 2004, I was able to merge those together, those passions together, when I discovered the work of ecopsychology and just knew that I'd found my calling. This is what I had to do. So I really was like knew that this would be a way for me to help people heal and the earth to heal too. So this is sort of what we're going to discuss today. And you know, I did numerous courses and been immersed in nature connection myself, so that's what I'm going to share with you today. One other thing that you might need to know about me is that my this is very interesting, children a lot notice this. You know, they notice, but adults, I don't know if they don't notice or they're too polite to say, but my left eye is kind of like a rebel, and it tends to do what it wants and it goes off to the side. So if you think I'm not looking at you, or if you wonder why I'm looking constantly over to my left, that's why. You know, it's just a little lazy. So I just give you a heads up. A little child asked me about that the other day. What's up with your eye? And I just thought it was really funny, because I think children notice it a lot and adults just either don't notice or they're too polite. Anyways, I'm doing this webinar to share something that I feel is really vital, especially at this time, like right now, is why coaches and healers need to use nature connection in their work. And I'm going to share with you more about that as we go along, the coaching and healing nature course that I have. But really, for me, it's something that is essential right now. You know, my work, I've been involved in numerous healing arts therapies, either giving them or receiving them. And for me, that the nature part of it is an essential part that we need to incorporate in all kind of healing and coaching practices. So let's begin with what you need to know about ecopsychology. Now, you may have heard this term already. It may be quite familiar to you, or it may be something completely new. But ecopsychology is a term that really is quite recent. It actually is sort of an ancient way of life, but it's kind of modern in a modern term. So it first came up in 1992 in a book called Voice of the Earth, which was edited by Theodore Roszak. And then he edited another book a few years later, which was actually called Ecopsychology. I think it's called Healing the Mind, Restoring the Earth, Healing the Mind. And that brought together a range of psychologists, historians, and ecologists who were really looking at the interconnection between ecology and psychology, and showing that they both needed the other. Now, during the modern history, mainstream psychology has not taken into account the relationship with the earth upon our mental health. You know, the only classification, I think, that relates to mental health and the earth is actually seasonal adjusted depression, which is just about not getting enough sunlight during the winter and how that affects our mood. But our deeper relationship with the earth was never really considered as part of our psyche, as part of what makes us up. And the early people who were writing about ecopsychology were saying, well, you know, this is kind of crazy because we're so affected by the earth. And people were sort of coming in with sort of these ideas of anxiety or grief about what was happening on the planet. And these were being sort of pushed aside, and you know, people were saying, well, that's just your personal, you know, issues. Maybe you have something up with your family that's making you feel this way, you know, and the wider connection to the earth was not really being recognized until that point. So the people that were first talking about ecopsychology were recognizing that our relationship with the earth and the state of the earth has a profound effect on our mental and holistic well-being. You know, humans have been 99% of our evolution in nature, you know, completely embedded in nature. So all of our physiology, all of our mind, our hormones are have intimately evolved in harmony with nature. And we've only recently taken ourselves out of nature until now most of the world population actually lives in urban environments. And this is like a grand experiment. We don't, you know, we're only just getting to see now the effects that this is having. And it's actually not so good. So Ecopsychology was basically saying as well that we have a voice of the earth that lives within us, and we can see this from the emergence of these healing therapies, these healing arts. We know ourselves now to be energetic beings. We know we just are not just this physical corporal body. You know, we are energetic beings, that we exist on many planes. We're multidimensional. There are many factors that influence our health and our wellness, and for us to be completely holistically healthy, the actual, you know, the health and our relationship with the earth is an intimate part of that, and we actually feel that within us, you know. So it's almost like an intuitive sense that we have that quite often is either ignored or misunderstood. We don't understand it, but it's within us, you know. So we feel the earth, we feel what's going on. You don't even need to watch the news to find out what's, you know, really going on with the earth, because we actually know it instinctually within us. And we quite often now we're wondering, well, am I crazy? You know, is there something wrong with me? Why am I feeling like this? You know, I shouldn't be feeling depressed, or I shouldn't be feeling, you know, all these, you know, this grief within us about what's happening on the planet. But actually, this is an important part of who we are. Is an important part of our senses, and if we block that off, we're blocking out an important part of who we are, an important signal to our wellness. It's one of those things that you know, if you sort of put off going to the doctor because you've got an ache, a little ache, and you know you don't want to deal with it, and you sort of keep just rubbing something on it and never really going and finding out what it is. It's kind of like that, but you know, it gets worse and worse the longer you leave it. Just best just to find out what it is and work through it. But quite often it's not even understood, you know. So ecopsychology also looked at, you know, we were just beginning at those, you know, that was the years we were just understanding the massive impacts that human beings are having on the planet. And people were waking up to going, well, you know, look, it's the end of oil. There's, you know, water shortages, you know, there's all these ecological breakdowns. And yet people weren't really doing anything. Like the mainstream was just still going on. And eco-psychologists were like, how can we destroy the very life support system we depend on and just continue like it's, you know, nothing, nothing's happening. And they were really looking at this like, well, for one, it's a form of madness. It's a form of madness that actually is not just a personal madness, it's like a societal level of madness. You know, everyone is sort of colluding on this level of craziness. So if you speak out against it, you're the one that thinks, oh, am I crazy? But yeah, that societies themselves were becoming massively dysfunctional. And also so there was a message there for the sort of the psychologists and the healers to stop trying to adjust people back into this mad society that is killing itself. You know, we don't want to become normal. We need to have a new normal. So we can't base our level of mental, emotional functioning based on what we see around us, you know, because that in itself is a form of madness. So we need to redefine what is sanity within a wider context, you know, taking into effect the ecological context. And that in itself also provided a new angle for the environmental movement, who have been trying to raise awareness but have been doing so in a way that was, you know, shame, blame, scare, you know, humans are terrible, that we're having this negative impact, you've got to stop it. And nobody really wants to hear that. No one wants to be told they're bad. No one wants to be told they can't have what they want. It actually probably just makes them want it even more. And so eco-psychologists were looking at what is it that bonds us with the natural world, and how can we influence people's behavior based on what they value, and looking at, you know, their connection with the earth, you know, the the I think it was a Harvard professor, Edward Wilson, who came up with the idea of biophilia, that humans are naturally inclined to love and care for nature. We are part of nature. So let's help people become better environmental citizens and stewards by looking at what they love and encouraging them to go for what they love, rather than just, you know, you're terrible, you're bad, and, you know, the world is going to hell and it's all your fault. So it's, you know, eco-psychology was really then a way of applying psychology to the environmental movement, you know, applying the what makes us tick, what makes us want to change and transform, and applying that to the ecological crisis as well. So eco-psychology is really useful from both aspects, either our individual personal psyche and spirit, and also the wider planetary, you know, what's going on and how can we influence that. Eco-psychology also, it takes us beyond the obvious awareness that the earth's health is a necessity for our health. And it says that really we can't reach the fullest potential of who we are unless we see ourselves as part of nature and as unique expressions of a whole. You know, we are one part of a collective whole, and we exist within an evolving and expanding universe, and we are part of that consciousness that is evolving and expanding also. So we're not here to just use nature, but we actually, part of our wholeness comes from contributing and being in harmony with nature, so that when we give back, we're actually giving to ourselves. And this is like a beautiful, you know, a positive cycle, where the earth healing and our healing are one. The earth and our healing are part of the same conscious evolution. So the reason I'd said before eco-psychology was actually kind of ancient is because a lot of indigenous cultures have actually had this definition of sanity as being one of being in relationship with the earth. And we're coming at it now from a whole new level, you know, of the spiral, you know, because now we've gone through this, we're going through this massive ecological turmoil, and part of our sense sort of restoring our balance is this understanding of working ourselves back into the relationship that we need with the natural world, you know, on an even bigger and more enhanced level. So it's a very exciting time. So that was a lot. Now we've got loads more to share, so let's keep going. I hope you're still with me, and like I said, leave a comment in the Q&A of the Google or underneath the chat wing. I'm just going to check that of oneloveliberty.com/webinar. So let's look at why nature connection is an essential part of successful living and a must for anyone offering coaching or healing. So as coaches and healers, we need to understand the insights from eco-psychology, you know, that our whole being, our mental, emotional, physical, spiritual health is intimately tied up with the planet. So when we have that awareness, you know, we can't offer a wellness therapy that is devoid of nature. You know, that is like, you know, I say it's trying to give somebody the most delicious water. Your healing therapy, whatever you offer, your coaching, your personal transformation, it is like the most refreshing cup of water that is, you know, giving life to somebody who desperately needs that hydration, you know. But it's like you're giving it to them without the cup, and it's falling through their hands and it's not embedded, because you have to embed all healing and all personal transformation within the wider context of nature connection and our relationship with the natural world, because that's, you know, that's where we stand, that's what we eat, it's nature is what we breathe, it's what we stand on, it's what gives us life, you know. So there's Thomas Berry, the wonderful, amazing Thomas Berry, just says it simply: we cannot have healthy people on a sick planet. So by trying to help people to heal without bringing in the nature connection, without bringing in their relationship and responsibility towards nature, it's not holistic. And I think that we are shortchanging people and shortchanging the idea of transformation if we are leading people to believe anything differently. As coaches and healers working on personal transformation, we also need to understand that level of the idea that there is this ecological unconscious within us that does cause us a level of pain that we might not be aware of. There's also the anxiety that comes from looking around us and going, I don't know if humanity's going to make it. There's a lot of big issues that we are dealing with in this generation that as humanity has never had to deal with before. We're in a new phase. We're in a completely new level, unprecedented change and turmoil. And we need to have ways to address that and to overcome them, and also to sort of engage in it, to plug in to that anxiety and actually go into it, go into the source, not ignore it, not pacify it, not say it's something else that it's not. Really go into that and understand that it's only when we really address that we're gonna emerge the other side and get the results that we want. We also, I feel that as coaches, healers, anybody interested in your own personal transformation, that we are really being called to redefine what is success and what is health. Because achieving any true measure of success and health without taking into consideration the health and healing of the earth is like, it's not fulfilling, and it's not practical, and it's not sustainable, and it's not going to lead us into any kind of positive future. We need to help ourselves and the people that we serve develop authentic lives that are congruent with their personal value system and congruent with the earth's value system. We need to tap into what is really happening on this earth. There are limits, and a lot of people don't want to be told there are limits to what we can do on this planet. Now, I feel that, our human potential, our creativity, our spirits are absolutely limitless, boundless, free. But we live on a planet that has limitations. And I wouldn't even say limitations. I would say sort of laws, rules, really, that we need to look at and live within. And actually, they don't bind us, they don't confine us, they actually lead us into a new space of understanding health and a new space of understanding success. So it actually, by working in harmony with nature and working in harmony with the earth, we actually expand our potential, and we expand our creativity, and we just give ourselves a chance to live, and then the chance for the next generations to live too. Now, so this, this whole context of, being responsible members of the earth community and living in harmony with the earth, it's not as a way to put added pressure on somebody who comes in with a particular problem, and then you sort of heap on a whole set of but you must live in harmony with the earth. And it's not a way of giving people problems that they maybe didn't consider or don't want to deal with. I mean, none of us at this time can be perfect, well, none of us can ever be perfect, but we cannot, some level of unsustainable or destructive behavior in a way is actually kind of unavoidable, because the industrial society has set it up so that it is so. And we cannot live in this sort of utopian ideal that we we can't achieve full measure of success and we can't achieve full measure of health unless the whole planet is fixed and everything is perfect. No, it's not going to happen like that. We evolving and working on becoming that sustainable, that clean environment, that healthy humanity is part of that evolution. It's part of what's going to give us life force. It's part of what's going to give us the fire of creativity. It's all part of the journey. So it's not to say that, you know, we are not, you know, nothing's going to happen until the whole planet's fixed. No, we're in a transition phase of human history. And we are now, you know, we're in the chrysalis of time, and now we're just emerging. We're going like, yay, we're going to become the butterfly. Come on, you know, we're changing, we're evolving, it's moving. So this in itself, being part of that movement, being part of this process, is actually a very magical, extraordinary, and transformative practice and process. Also, for some people, though, actually, who are being coached or being looking at their personal healing, actually embedding them within the bigger context of, you know, it's not just about you. There's bigger things going on that are bigger than you, and you're plugged into it. It's actually a way of giving a bigger perspective. You know, stop sweating the small stuff when there's, you know, there's bigger issues to deal with. And actually, you know, that's not a way of diminishing anybody's problems. You know, we all have our levels of problems and stress, and, you know, we don't want to be diminished or told that they're not important. But at the same time, we see the larger context, you know, we see the bigger picture, and that can help us just feel more at ease and feel more liberated to just go for things that we want to achieve. Okay, so, you know, so nature connection, how this all fits in, you know, nature connection is beautiful because you don't even have to explain to anybody about all of this that we've spoken about, all the ecopsychology, all the ecotherapy, all the, you know, our relationship with the earth. It's a way of helping people get in touch with the natural world for themselves and supporting them to develop that relationship with nature so that they experience the wellness that brings. You know, so many people are lacking even just walking out, you know, taking a walk and realizing that is an amazing level of clarity. Just the simple nature connection activities that help us gain perspective, gain a level of personal well-being is what we can help people with. And that then leads to this, you know, sense of love of our environment and a deeper understanding of what it takes for us to be truly well and happy. So I see I have a question in the chat box that says, is this live? Yes, it is. Hi, welcome. Give me another question if you want to. All right, so we're heading on. Glad to have you with us. So nature really is, you know, the connection with ourselves. We learn about our true nature in harmony with the world around us, because without that, you know, without being in touch with the world around us, we really don't understand our fullness, the holistic sense of who we are. And it's not a one-size-fits-all, you know, approach. So there are many different ways you can introduce nature connection into your work as a coach or healer, you know, and we're going to look at those a little bit later, some specific examples. But yeah, it's not a one-size-fits-all process. You know, there are many different practices that you can use to help people just ease into a nature connection process that's going to help them massively. And it's going to help you as well as somebody who wants to help others. It's just going to make your work much easier. And we're going to see why now. So there are many scientific studies being done now. This is what's so exciting, because there's so many scientific studies now which are just popping up all over the place to show us, hey, you know, if you do this in nature, it improves your health in this way, you know. And this is actually now becoming mainstream. You know, I see on Facebook all the time, for goodness sakes, like people just posting all this stuff. Oh, tree hugging is scientifically validated, and all these things that show us that time in nature has this positive effect on our health. And these are great because it helps the logical part of the brain, the rational part of the brain that wants, you know, to know that it's not just woo-woo, that it's not just, you know, this hippie kind of thing, that it's actually scientifically validated. It helps that part of the brain relax and go, yeah, okay, I can do this without looking weird, you know. And for the rest of us who already knew it, it's like it just validates what we're doing, and those, you know, that feeling that we have of nature connection. So I'm going to look at some specific examples. Now, the list is kind of, you know, it could be endless, but I'm going to give you a few examples. Now, I just want you to remember that as we talk about nature connection, that's very different from doing nature connection. You know, it's easy to sort of talk and have these ideas, but until you get out there and you're practicing, then it's, you know, it's still cerebral. So I want you to sort of take what I'm saying here, whilst also maybe thinking of yourself doing these things, and also being willing to actually get outside and do them. They're far more powerful than, you know, than it appears from just hearing about it. Now, so nature connection helps in these different areas. Now, change and transformation. Now, that has to be the biggest reason people come to coaching or healing work. They want change and transformation in some ways. And this can be quite challenging because, you know, we pretty much all know now that, you know, our subconscious beliefs can sometimes hold us back from making the changes that our conscious mind wants. Nature connection can help us develop a sense of mindfulness and presence that enables us to be conscious, more conscious of the our levels of programming, and help liberate us from them. We can be in observation of nature and actually increase our presence. I think that's the main word for it. But also there's this great study done that showed that they had these people take two walks, one walk, two groups. One set of people walked through a nature path, and one people walked through a mall, and they had them all set up, you know, with the staff measuring what was going on in their brain. And they showed that the part of the brain that tends to go over kind of negative thoughts was actually less active when the people were going through the nature walk. So the mindfulness and presence that you get through interacting with nature, it switches off that kind of the brain that's limiting, that's nagging, that's giving you all this like you can't do it and all this what happened yesterday. It's like, no, here's life, here's presence, be in the present moment. And that is a massive help to anybody who is trying to engage in any level of personal transformation and healing. And nature connection also positively enhances our hormonal balance and our emotional moods, making overcoming any kind of challenges more effortless, you know, because we feel better. All right, so health and healing. Nature connection is inherently a healing practice. There's numerous studies on this. One of the first study was View from a Window, done by Roger Ulrich in the 80s. And that showed that there were two sets of patients that were in a hospital, all recovering from the same operation. One set had a view out of nature, one set had a view out of a brick wall. And the ones that had the view of nature, they healed faster, had less medication, less pain. And that study has been repeated again and again, different environments, different healing processes, and it always shows that any time that people have even a view of nature, much less their interaction with nature, they always heal faster. So as healers, coaches, we just can bring this into our work and have everything happen much more, you know, simply and easier. Nature connection is amazing remedy for stress. Now, stress comes in all different forms. It's kind of a pervasive feeling in modern society, and it underlines many physical and emotional ailments. There's numerous studies done to show that any contact with nature, like looking at nature, hearing, or, you know, recordings of nature, petting an animal, all of those things, they reduce stress. I mean, like physically, they take down the cortisol levels in your body. They, you know, help people decrease their blood pressure. They regulate the heartbeat. They have, you know, nature connection actually leads to these physiological changes that then help people to live, you know, less stressed. I wouldn't say stress-free, but less stressed out lives, you know, and it can be a place of clarity and just like relaxation. Nature connection can help with productivity. You know, we all want to get more out of life. We all want to, you know, push ourselves and yeah, just to achieve what we want to achieve or enjoy what we want to enjoy. But this kind of like continual working and this continual like striving can lead to, you know, lapses in our concentration and increased stress and decreased productivity. So there's this great study that's just, I think, just come out. I read about it recently, called the Green Roof Study, and it had these people that were answering questions, you know, these things that they had to just respond to quite quickly, quite simple questions, but they had to respond to quite quickly. And they showed some of the group a picture of a green roof. Now, a green roof is just like, you know, if you're looking out on a building and it's planted up, you know, with loads of plants on it, so it's green. And they showed the other group just the regular concrete roof, and they showed it to them for 40 seconds. This is just so amazing. They showed the people these two images for 40 seconds and then got them back in their test. And the people that had the green roof image were quicker in their responses, less lapses in concentration, and showed better memory. So that shows just how quickly nature can restore us. You know, just going outside for 5 minutes can be the restoration that we need in our day to pick us up. You know, we don't need to have that extra cup of coffee. You know, just take a little walk in the park. I remember when I lived in London and I worked for an environmental charity, but a lot of the people were smokers, and they would go out and have their cigarette break. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go out and have a non-cigarette break. And I used to go out and just take a breath of fresh air and look at the trees, maybe take a 2-minute walk up and down and come back and refreshed. And I know that my productivity and my enthusiasm and my ability to work was much more enhanced. So, you know, if you're working with anybody, encourage them to just get outside. When you're seeing them sort of lapsing in front of their computer, you know, just tell them to get outside for 5 minutes. It's an amazing boost to our productivity. Now, the great Stephen Covey, the one that wrote 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, he has in his book on principle-centered leadership, you know, the need for we need nature to help us get more clarity. But he also reminds us of what he calls the law of the farm. And that's saying, like, in our society now, where lots of people want instant gratification, we want things now, we want to do it now, and, you know, that's kind of great in certain sense, but the law of the farm is that you have to plant the seed, you have to nurture the seed, you have to, you know, see it through all stages of its growth. You know, there's no shortcuts in nature like that. You know, we have to see things through and then we harvest. And I think that's an amazing way to look at things whenever we're planning projects or anything, is to sort of go through those stages of what would it be like on the farm, because otherwise it can lead us to feeling like, oh, I'm not doing enough, or it's not happening fast enough. We need to know what cycle that we're in, what phase of this cycle that we're in, for us to be like at ease and to understand that, yeah, everything has this process, and to be content with where we are at that time, and understand when is the time to take action, because you don't go through all the work on the farm and then leave the stuff there when it needs to be harvested. So that's another way that we can sort of tap into our levels of productivity, even project management, to be looking at that natural analogy. Nature connection also helps if you're looking at relationships. Now, there are many different people coaching around relationships, how to have better relationships, how to get in a relationship, how to get out of a relationship. But then our relationship with the earth is our primary relationship. It's the one that gives us life. And it's the one that endures throughout our whole life. And that relationship needs to be harmonious for other relationships in our lives to flourish. And studies show, there's this great study that showed that nature, they had people answer questions about, different questions about like giving and what they valued. And it showed that the people that had connection with nature ended up giving more caring responses after, to the questionnaire. They actually showed they were more caring, they were more generous, they were more altruistic, they were looking out for the bigger picture. Their values were based on the bigger picture values rather than their own, like, I want this, and their own levels of attainment. They were looking at a more expansive picture, and that's amazing, because that's what we want in a relationship. We want somebody to be caring and loving and giving. So get out in nature with that person, get out in nature with yourself to develop those qualities in yourself, and then we have a much better relationship with our own selves. We can be much more giving to other people. I also I have a course which I do, a day retreat, which takes people out into nature, couples out into nature, and I'm going to share more about that in the Coaching and Healing with Nature course. But it really takes them on a journey to show that the natural world nurtures their love, and by getting out and nurturing their love within nature enhances their relationship, and it's just beautiful. Nature connection also helps us with issues of self-esteem. We can start to understand ourselves as part of the natural world and not separate from it, and to know that we belong here. We have a purpose. We are intrinsically worthy, and appreciating nature shows us, when we do nature connection activities, it shows us how to appreciate ourselves. It gives us a new level of self-understanding, of self-worth, and of self-love. If you are dealing with issues of weight, or fitness or wellness in that level, weight loss and fitness, and again, relating to the whole self-esteem issue, it's more effortless when you're spending time outside and enjoying time outside in nature. You are breathing more deeply, your circulation is increasing, you have a fresh blood flow, it gives you more feel-good energy, and it gives you the more motivation to attain your goals. So even somebody who does not like exercise maybe can actually start gradually by just taking a walk through nature, not trying to do it as an exercise, not putting on jogging clothes and trying to do power walking. Just take a walk, and those walks just eventually just lead people into taking more exercise in nature naturally, just because they know it feels good. And then that kind of issue of exercise and weight loss is pretty effortless. Nature has been shown to have a massive effect on ADHD. attention deficit disorder, which shows that our attention, green settings improve attention. And the greener the setting, the better the attention. Nature increases our ability to pay attention. And sometimes we need to be in nature for a little while before that part of us kicks in, because things are slower in nature, and we are very used to things happening fast. Things are happening fast in our, there's emails coming in, there's this, there's that. We're bombarded with information overload, and we want things quick. Even sometimes, when you're pressing a button on your thing and it takes 3 seconds longer than it usually takes, and you're getting agitated, so we need to slow down. And when we sort of tune more into that natural rhythm of the earth and see things happening on a slower level, we have an increased ability to be more peaceful and more attentive, and have a greater level of attention for things. Creativity, this is a big one. Spending time in nature has been a long-standing practice of artists, writers, musicians, poets throughout the ages. All the nature poets. You've probably read, loads of them that got inspired through nature. But nature is the ultimate in creative energy. There's nothing more creative than nature itself. Go out and observe what's going on out there. It's just this masses of creative energy going on. So when you're out in that creative energy, you absorb it, you feel it, ideas become clearer. And you don't necessarily need to be wanting to write a song or a poem or something. It could be your business plan. But that creative energy is encouraged by nature. And actually, nature connection allows our minds to let go of the clutter. There's actual research now to show why people always say their best ideas come in the shower. There's research to show why. And it's just simply because it's the one place that we're completely unplugged. You cannot go and play on your phone in the shower. The water is falling on you. That is, again, nature connection, because you're connected to the water. And you're just at peace. You're in the moment. There's actually now, I saw a company that makes like a post-it notes to put in the shower, because it's saying that most people's great ideas come in the shower, and by the time you get out the shower, the phone is already ringing, you forget your great idea. So they have these waterproof notes now for you to write your good ideas when you're in the shower, which can be a good thing, as long as people don't start writing their to-do lists, and just relax into the moment. And the last one I think we're going to look at in terms of how nature, how we can use nature connection for coaching and healing, is self-care. Time in nature is a very overlooked self-care practice. It connects us to our earth self. It creates a sense of meaning and belonging. We feel good being in nature. It's restorative. It's healing on all levels. We get fresh air. We get time in beautiful environments. We restore our calm. We wash away stress. We inhale good smells. We eat nutritious food. Nature connection is just a massive self-care practice. And engaging in restorative practices towards the planet is also the ultimate self-care, because we nurture the wider earth body. We actually are nurturing ourselves, because there is no individual health without earth health. There's even microbacteria in the soil, MVACI, that actually boost your serotonin levels, which makes you feel happier when you're in nature, and I completely attest to this, and any gardener will attest to this, that when you go out, it doesn't matter what mood you're in, you start going in that soil and you just immediately feel better. It's amazing. I'm just gonna reach my water here. So there's loads more examples of how coaching and healing practices can use nature, and some will come to you very intuitively after working with some of the practices yourself. Some will come from the person themselves. Like, I was doing a workshop with a couple, and we were looking at the trees and just observing, like there was a tree that was rotting down, and but there were things growing on it, and we were just looking at this whole life cycle. And she just said, I'm not scared of death anymore. I just know that there's no such thing, and I'll be reborn, and I'm part of the earth. And it was gone. It was just like, you know, whatever tension and stress she'd held about this issue, she was just like, it was just completely gone. And we hadn't talked about it or anything. So I think there's loads of ways that nature connection can guide a person in ways that us, you know, as healers and coaches, as guides, we don't set them up for, but nature itself sets them up for and gives them exactly what they need. Time to take a sip. My goodness, I just can't stop talking about this, right? So, and we've still got more, loads more. We're gonna go past the hour. So anyway, if you need to hop off, it's cool. The recording, just, you know, email me, terry@oneloveliberty.com if you're not already on my mailing list, and I'll get the recording to you. So nature connection as part of how can we use nature connection as part of a path to conscious evolution and global transformation? Now, I think, you know, I've addressed those themes as I've been talking throughout, so we don't need to go into it too much, but really we're at an amazing point of humanity right now, and we're really only just waking up as a species to the massive effect that we have on nature and the massive effect that nature has on us. So we're an emerging chapter in the story of humanity, and we're facing these pressures like never before. We're feeling a sense of urgency in our actions. We're feeling a sense we need to wake up and participate fully in life. And that amidst all these massive challenges, there are amazing opportunities. I kind of feel like right now that the ecological crisis is our chance of spiritual awakening. It's our chance of conscious awakening to start a new chapter in humanity, where we actually are working together. We're working as one. You know, nature unites us all. It doesn't matter where you live, what you believe, what religion you are, what car you drive. We all breathe air. We're all on this one planet together. So nature connection is a way of bringing us together as one. And that is the oneness that we need to forward ourselves into this next level of humanity that can become more than sustainable, you know, but become just amazingly, abundantly creative. And a community of all life where we really, really respect all of life, you know, that all of the earth's children, not just human children. You know, we respect all of you know, all the creatures, all the plants. That level of respect is a new level of consciousness that we are emerging into, and that we can emerge into through developing this relationship with nature and relationship with the earth. You know, and it's part of Bruce Lipton has this great analogy that he says that, you know, we have within us like 50 trillion cells, and they all work together to make us human. They all are working together every single day to help us breathe and live. And right now we're coming together as humans, knowing that we are each one cell in the wider body of humanity. And as we wake up, as we participate in this story together, you know, we're part of this bigger picture, you know, and that is part of our evolutionary process. Yeah. So we got two more things to cover, really. We're going to do a simple nature connection meditation that you can do for yourself, or if you work with others, you can share with your clients for instant ease. Oh my goodness, I forgot to unplug my phone. It's going to have to ring. Okay, so nature connection helps us to get perspective and feel like No matter what else is going on in our lives, the natural world is keeping us alive and keeping us supported. So we're going to just start our nature connection practice by ignoring the phone and hoping it will stop soon. And we're going to breathe. And as you take in this deep breath, I want you to feel connected to that life force energy that's keeping you alive. Feel the connection to the plants and the oceans that are keeping you alive. Recognize that whatever else is going on right now, you can breathe. You are being fully supported to exist and live and thrive in this moment. You can breathe. The earth is supporting your life, so you can breathe that energy into any area of your body or your mind that's feeling uncomfortable or tight or restricted, and know that nature is supporting you, and relax completely into that unconditional support. So take those few moments just to breathe. Nothing's going to happen in those few moments. And this is so useful for those times where everything seems stressful, everything seems to need to happen now, or something, has been a shock. Breathe. Feel that nature is supporting you. And then feel yourself being held down to the earth. Gravity was the force that enabled the entire universe to come together. And right now, it is holding you down on this planet. It's keeping you safe. It is a loving, unconditional embrace. And relax into that. Know that your entire body is being supported by the earth. So you just breathe. You feel your groundedness. You can even go outside and touch the earth, or you can jump and feel that gravity holding you back down. But when you do those two things, it helps give you amazing clarity. You can feel calmer, you can feel supported, you can feel more nurtured, and you can handle anything. The earth has got your back. So I hope you find that useful, and I really hope you'll do it next time, you're feeling in that panic, stress, attack. Breathe. Feel yourself being grounded. Good. Okay, so now you are feeling grounded, supported, loved. I want to introduce you to the Coaching and Healing with Nature program that I have coming up, and it's starting on Monday. Oh my goodness, it's starting on February the 1st. So this time is now to get involved in this Coaching and Healing with Nature program. Now, I have designed this Nature Connection program specifically for coaches, healers, wellness therapists, but it's applicable to anyone interested in using nature connection for their personal growth. The reason why I wanted to work with people who are working with others is because this is what nature does. The other day we were harvesting seeds from a marigold plant. The marigold was planted with one seed, and that marigold yielded hundreds of seeds. Nature reproduces itself in abundance. So when we have things that we need to share, it needs to be shared in abundance. Now, from me being one seed, I can share that with people that are also healing others. That is going to spread this nature connection. That is going to spread this movement to wholeness and wellness much further, much faster. So I really want to encourage people who are on that journey to be a part of it. And even if you're not working specifically, if you're not a coach or a healer or a therapist, you are going to affect the other people in your life. You're going to affect your friends, and you're going to affect your family. You're going to nurture them. So this is really for anybody on this personal development path, excuse me, and who wants to be part of this global shift in consciousness, nature connection. Now, within the Nature Connection program, it's a 4-week program, and you can go to OneLoveLiberty/nature coach, and that has all the details there. Everything is outlined there. So we have 4 modules. The first module is really about coming home to the earth, grounding ourselves in our own understanding and practice of nature connection, and experiencing and embedding ourselves in the great cosmological story and syncing our rhythm in harmony with the earth. Our second module is all about getting local and integrating our nature practice. Oh, and before, sorry, in module 1, we start essential nature connection practices. So this is a self-development practice. You know, you are going to be journaling, you're going to be doing nature meditations, you're going to be doing nature practices, because you have to do them yourself to be able to share them with others. We have to walk our talk. So then in module 2, we get local. We start to integrate our nature connection practice into our daily life. We start to get more intimate with our local neighborhood. And this is especially useful if you are going to be working with people on a one-to-one basis on site in your local environment, so you can get to know it. But it's also great if you are going to be guiding people to use these nature connection practices in their own environment, because you will have the experience of what it's like to connect with your own environment, the insights that you gain. So it's really about looking at the world with fresh eyes, looking at nature's details. And again, there'll be some nature connection activities, practices, and meditations throughout that week. Module 3 is really the heart, I think, of the course, which is really looking at the science and practice of forest bathing. Now, forest bathing is a term that has been translated from Japanese, Shrinyin Yoku, and that is a kind of a popular therapy in Japan as a way of reconnecting people to the healing power of the forest. Science is showing us that spending time in the forest, it's just had so many health benefits for us. And it's something that we need as modern humans, is to get ourselves in places of greater wildness and find that wildness within us as well. So we are going to go through the practicalities of taking people for a walk in nature, and also I'm going to give you every single practice that I use from my nature walks. I have the program I spoke to you about before called Love in the Heart of Nature, where I guide couples in a one-day practice, and I'm going to give you every single activity that I use there. No holding back. This is all about sharing the love. And then module 4, we're going to be looking at I Am Nature, and really going through activities that, integrating everything we've learned so far and looking at different ways to let nature speak through us, using nature affirmations and using meditations that we can do to have a positive impact on the earth, ways that we can also give back and be part of the earth and our self-transformation as one, and be an active part of the nature healing transformation that is happening and needs to happen even more on the planet right now. And then it's so exciting because this is a leap year, and so we have 5 Mondays in February. So Monday the 29th is going to be our bonus session, where we are going to get together and share experiences, have a chance to go deeper into any areas that we want to, that we feel needs more explanation or just more understanding, or just want to talk about our experience in nature. Talking about our experience in nature is so important because it's something that is really challenging to do in modern society. It's really easy to talk about the latest piece of technology you get. It's easy to do that. Oh my gosh, look at this, and it does this, and we can explain its features, and we can show people, and it's exciting. And then you want to talk to people about the experience you had in the woods, and then it gets like, oh, all right, I'm not interested, or almost we don't have words for it as well. That's an important part of it. Sometimes it's without words. So really just sort of speaking it can help us, you know, articulate our feelings and our thoughts and enable us to share those with others. So that's our bonus session. And then in addition to the core modules, the 5 weeks we go, we have our ongoing Facebook group, which is like our virtual campfire that we need to share experiences. Now, I would all love you to come and we do all this together and we sit down at the end of every day and we talk about what we did. But, you know, using this amazing technology, this amazing internet that we do also be very grateful. I love technology. So we're going to use that as our virtual campfire so that we can get together, and I'm going to be sharing different things that you can do and posting up different meditations and practices within that group. That's going to be our private group. So that is the course in a nutshell. I mean, if you have any questions, you can either put them on this Q&A or you can email me, terry@oneloveliberty.com, and ask me any questions. But remember, the course is starting on Monday, so you've got to get in quick. Now, I promised a special bonus at the end of the program. Now, the course price is $197, and that's in US dollars for international people, and we in Dominica don't use US dollars either, but it's just a sort of a generic currency. So that's the program price. Now, if you sign up by the end of today, you can get the course for $147, and that's a saving of $50 US. You just need to go to oneloveliberty.com/webinar special. Now, if you go there right this second, it's going to be password protected. So once I get off this webinar, I'm going to unpassword protect it, and you can sign up. And if you're watching the recording of this webinar, then unless you're watching the recording like today, then that page is going to be password protected again. That page is just coming down, so don't even go there. But if you want to sign up like now, by the end of today, to do this 4-week program or 5-week program for $147 US, then you go to oneloveliberty.com/webinar special. And if you have any problems, just email me, shout out, you know, contact me. I'm on Facebook anyway. Just, yeah, send me a message or whatever. And, you know, I've developed this program. You know, this is the first time we're going to be doing it. There's going to be lots of learning and integration, and it's going to be very organic and exciting. You know, that's what I'm excited about. So, I mean, I'm never going to offer the course at this price again. It is particularly priced like this so that we get that we're all learning in this very, like organic process together. You know, so it's a good opportunity to get on now. And if you're a coach or a healer, it's like these activities are available right now. You know, why deny yourself? Why wait and say, oh, I hope she does it in a few weeks time or a few months time? You know, I'm not sure when I'm going to do it again. Probably not for, you know, much later down the year. So I would really love you to get on board now. You can go to oneloveliberty.com/nature coach, and that gives you all the information about the course that we're doing, and gives you the modules. And I'm still changing stuff and tweaking stuff and getting new ideas, and every time I go outside I'm like, oh, I gotta put that in the course. So like I said, I mean, there's what it says on the website, and then, you know, there's what we're gonna really get into as well. So trust me, I love to give value, and I love to share this work in nature connection with others and see it, you know, spread like seeds. You know, just yesterday, I took those marigold seeds from this one plant, and we just spread them everywhere. And like, I'll wait to see, you know, this the marigold shooting up. And so I can't wait to just spread this nature connection out and see, you know, these beautiful flowers from around the world. I know I have Michelle, and she's saying she's signing up. Thank you, Michelle. And I can't wait. And she's all the way in New Zealand. So from Dominica to New Zealand, it's awesome. People from around the world. That's wonderful. So if the cause is not for you, I am just still so grateful that you were here, that you listened to the webinar, and you know, you get an idea of what this nature connection work is all about. Maybe you will be more inspired to go outside and use nature connection, you know, in your own way. But if you do want specific practices and techniques and guidance, then get on board with the Coaching and Healing with Nature program. So yeah, I honor your participation, and I'm just want to close. If there's, I don't know if there's any questions. I will stay on for a bit to for questions, but I just want to pause and read this before we leave. And let me see if I find it. Yeah. So I'm going to read this. May we shine with a pure inner passion that will spread rapidly through these leaden times. May we all awaken to our true and only nature, none other than the nature of Gaia, this living planet Earth. We call upon the power which sustains the planets in their orbits, that wheels our Milky Way in its 200 million year spiral, to imbue our personalities and our relationships with harmony, endurance, and joy. Fill us with a sense of immense time, so that our brief, flickering lives may truly reflect the work of vast ages past, and also the millions of years of evolution whose potential lies in our trembling hands. So give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Let me know if you have any questions. You can contact me, Terry, at oneloveliberty.com, or go to oneloveliberty.com /nature coach. I am so honored that you are here. I wish you a beautiful, wonderful, sunshiny, wherever you are, let the sun shine in your heart, nature connected day. One love.